Thank you, uh, Miss Beta Ria Sonata. So we will continue our seminar with presentation from Dr. Hanbyul Kang. Is already joined with us in this Zoom. Where are you, Dr. Kang?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, how are you, Dr. Kang?
Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, so Dr. Kang will give a presentation on the theme Linguistic Greek Perfect. Before Dr. Hanbyul Kang gives his presentation, I will read his profile. We can see the curriculum vitae from Dr. Hanbyul Kang. Dr. Kang completed his PhD from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Yeah, from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary with dissertation, Three Nuance of the Perfect Indicative in the Greek New Testament. Dr. Kang is now working as adjunct professor in Baekseok University and senior research fellow in Daily Dose of Greek. I often watch Daily Dose of Greek, Dr. Kang.
Okay.
I love Professor Rod Plummer, right?
Yes.
Yes, Rod Plummer, yes. Dr. Kang has a publication with the title Three in One of the Perfect Indicative in the Greek New Testament. So that's a little background education from Dr. Hanbyul Kang. So Dr. Kang, you will present your paper or your presentation for 35 minutes.
Okay.
And we will continue about 20 minutes discussion, Q&A session. And I will ask permission to interrupt you if the time is up.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Dr. Kang, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a great honor to present my paper in front of the Indonesian brothers and sisters in Christ. I presented my handout already. Did you guys receive the handout? Just in case you don't, let me share the handout in the chat room. Okay, and I'm going to share the screen first. I'm going to present the three nuances of the perfect indicative in the Greek New Testament. This is the title of my dissertation I wrote in 2020. And my supervisor was Dr. Plummer, who is a host of Daily Dose of Greek. And the reason why I chose this topic in my dissertation, I was fascinated with the English perfect tense when I learned English, because in Korean language, we don't have perfect tense. So it was fascinating, and that interest led me to write the Greek perfect as well in my dissertation. So traditionally, grammarians have understood Greek perfect like English perfect, that is an ongoing state out of the completed event. However, the problem is in Greek, we have oida and gegraptai. Oida is a perfect, but it means I know, occurring 210 times, and gegraptai means it has been written, it is written. It's perfect, but gegraptai is used often when the authors of the New Testament quote the Old Testament passage. They don't really say it has been written from the past and it's ongoing. They just mean it is written in the scripture. So traditional scholars view them as exceptional. However, 210 times of oida and 65 cases of gegraptai out of 839, the whole Greek perfect indicative form in the New Testament, almost 1/3, are not exceptional. So that's why one of the scholars, Stanley Porter, argues that the perfect tense is stative and based on such examples above. And I also introduced other scholars too in footnote 2. Buistic feigning argues that the perfect tense is first stative Aktionsart. Aktionsart is the kind of action, and second, interior tense and summary viewpoint aspect. His view is complex, and also Constant Campbell argues that the perfect tense is imperfective, but those are do not explain fully the perfect in many cases in New Testament. So there have been difficulties and debates about perfect. So among these cacophony, Rutger Allen, who wrote his dissertation about Greek middle voice in 2002, argues 3 stages of the perfect in a book, Greek Verb Revisited, published in 2016 in his article. Other scholars, such as Haspelmath and Hogue, had already argued that the 3 stages of the Greek perfect. So these are the 3 stages of the perfect. First stage is resultative stative. And second stage is interior or current relevance, like English perfect. So Greek has evolved like that. And final stage is Greek perfect is used as a simple past. So this is the 3 stages of the Greek perfect. So the first stage is resultative stative. Resultative stative is Greek perfect is intrinsically, originally resultative, but it comes to stative. So on archaic perfect form, oida is resultative stative.
Apologies, Dr. Kang. Can you raise your volume?
Okay.
Ah,
Can you hear me?
yes, that's good, Dr. Kang. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Please
so far
continue.
it was difficult to hear.
Yes. Okay. It's okay. It's okay, Dr. Kang. Please
Yeah, I'm sorry.
continue.
Okay, I'm sorry about the volume. So three stages of the perfect is this: first stages and second stages and third stages. And the first stage is resultative stative, and the archaic form oida is resultative stative, meaning I know. The root is uoid, and the uoid comes from uaid, the root, meaning I am in the state of having seen, having found. So the root uaid appears in the aorist form aidon, I saw. So the oida, the meaning I know comes from I am in the state of having seen, having found. So these two are very close. So this is the first stage of the perfect. The oida is very archaic form and it's ancient form, and it survived up to Koine Greek era. And in ancient Greek, the perfect was like middle voice. Another characteristic is having a subject affectiveness like middle voice. For example, a perfect form olola means I have perished. I am in the state of being perished. That was the meaning of the perfect in ancient Greek or in Homer. So these archaic perfect forms survived through classical period up to Koine Greek, such as oida. And many of them also perished too. So oida is one of the archaic form survived through the classical Greek and appeared in the Greek New Testament. And since the archaic perfect form was like middle voice, many perfect middle forms occurred as frequently as the active perfects in Homer. A great number of perfect middles are observed in classical Greek too, 180 times in Herodotus and 600 times in Thucydides. Also, these many Greek perfect passive forms occur in the Greek New Testament. They denote resultative stative meaning. So bebelata, for example, my servant is lying in Matthew 8:6. This is the saying of the centurion. And pepleirotai is fulfilled. The prophecy is fulfilled in Mark 1:15. And pepistumai, I am entrusted with the gospel by the saying of the Apostle Paul in Galatians 2. And tetufomtai, he is puffed up. And memiristai, is Christ divided in 1 Corinthians 1:13. The Apostle Paul doesn't really say, has Christ been divided? He focuses on the present state. So all these cases, perfect middle forms are used. So you will be able to see the table 1. I divided 3 nuances of the perfect into 3 categories. Resultative, stative, 55%, 461 cases. And interior, current relevance, 34%, 289 cases. And perfect as simple past occurs 89 cases, comprises 11%. So the whole number of the perfect indicative forms occur 839 cases in the Greek New Testament. So this perfect go to the second stage, interior or current relevance. This is a typical concept of the perfect, like English perfect. For example, I have vomited. So vomiting occurred in the past and it affects the present. The smell and everything is mess. So this is a typical concept of a perfect. So during the classical Greek period, the meaning of the perfect was expanded. In Homer, the perfects were intransitive and subject affected like the middle voice. Therefore, it suffered from limitation of the verbal lexicality. The range of expressing with the perfects had restrictions in Homer. In classical Greek, however, the perfect went through a change. In the 5th and 4th century BC, a great number of the perfects occur with objects, meaning transitive. So in Homer, in ancient Greek, the perfect was like middle voice and without object, many cases, and subject like affectedness. So they didn't have many times object. So the expression, the range of expression was limited. But in classical Greek, the active transitive perfects increased all of a sudden in classical Greek. They are observed in classical Greek literatures like Aristophanes 200 times, and Plato 125 times, and Sophocles 50 times, Thucydides 35 times, and etc. So they were no longer limited by the lexical restrictions. Changed perfects were composed with kappa. So in Homer, kappa perfect was scant. But on the other hand, all the resultative perfects were still common in classical Greek era, but the changed perfects were widely attested. In contrast to the intransitive perfects, active transitive perfects appeared. So for example, the intransitive old perfect forms like pepoitha, I am persuaded, and apollola, meaning I perish, or I am in the state of being perished, and pephaina, I am manifest, developed transitive active perfect forms. They became pepeka, with kappa ending in the classical Greek period. I have persuaded someone, and apolloleka, I have destroyed something, and pephanka, I have shown something. So the later forms have kappa forms, and the old forms with non-kappa form with tha, pepoitha, apollola, pephaina. So these are old forms of the perfect. So these are the change in the classical Greek period. Gegraptai is also a resultative stative, not, it has been written, it is written, it can express with object, gegrapha, I have written something. So in New Testament, in Revelation 2, we have this perfect, kekopiakes, you have not become weary. In Revelation 2, this is the saying of the risen Lord to the church of Ephesus. The risen Lord first praised their effort, and they have not become weary from the past and still ongoing. But the Lord rebuked them because they forsook the first love. So the Lord says, Peptokas, you have fallen. So remember where you have fallen. So the event of being fallen occurred in the past in the church of Ephesus, and the state continues, and the current situation is very dangerous. That's why the Lord warned them, because you have fallen. Peptokas. And in Revelation 3, this is a saying of the risen Lord to the church of Sade. Eureka. So the Lord says, I have not found your work complete in front of my Father. So the Lord have kept watching the work of them from the past, and until now, Jesus Christ couldn't find their work complete in front of Father. So this is the second stage of the perfect, which is typical type of the perfect, the easiest one. And thirdly, our third stage is perfect is used as simple past. The confusion and overlap between the perfect and the aorist occurred in the Koine period. So for example, in Revelation 5, 7-8, Elphan kai Elaphan. So he went and took, but this is perfect. Literally, it should be have taken. And in footnote 6, I gave another example, longer one. In footnote 6, Revelation 8, I make bold the perfect here, Elaphan, and I underline the aorist forms, Elphan, Estathe. So the perfect bold one is surrounded by a number of many aorist forms. So in Revelation, especially, the perfect occurs among the aorist forms. So New Testament scholar Robertson tries to explain this kind of perfect as dramatic historical present perfect for emphasizing vividness. He says, instead of the perfect here, if the author used the aorist form, it would have been prosaic, boring. So to highlight the action in here, for example, in Revelation 5, the Lamb is taking the book from the Father at the throne. So the Robertson says the author wanted to highlight this action of taking a book, Elaphan. So I think Robertson's explanation is quite plausible. And another case is most cases of Eureka are translated as the simple past many times. And also in Book of Hebrews, 24 cases out of 45 perfects in my research, almost half of the perfects are used like a simple past. For example, proseneno ken, Abraham offered up Isaac. So perfect tense is used here, but it's a past event in Genesis 21, 22. So in Hebrews, many perfect as simple past used like this. After the Koine period, the kappa perfect became extinct. In Byzantine and medieval period, 314-50 AD, the kappa perfect no longer occurs. The kappa perfect forms were replaced by periphrastic construction with echo or ame. After 14th century, modern periphrastic formation with echo plus infinitive appeared. So the kappa perfect after the Koine period, it disappeared, and later it was replaced by the echo form in 14th centuries, but until then, periphrastic construction was used with Echo and Amy. I think there is a dissertation coming out about the periphrastic construction as well. So in table 2, I summary this topic with 3 stages of the perfect with period, resultative stative, its first stages in ancient Greek, Homeric Greek, and interior is classical and Koine Greek, and perfect as simple past. This occurs in Koine Greek, rarely in classical Greek too. The meaning is, I already said that, and representatives are resultative stative perfects are oida and hesteika, gegraptai, tethneika, someone is dead. Pepoitha, I am persuaded. Hey gemai, I consider. Just like in James 1. And interior perfects are teteireka, I have kept. Pepleiroka, I have fulfilled. Deluka, I have served. Hureka, I have found. Pepistuka, I have believed. Pephileika, I have loved. Agapeka, heimarteka, peptoka. And lastly, perfect as simple past examples are eleifa, eireka. As I said, many cases of eireka are used as simple past, and heraka as well, and apastaka. So I also presented the percentages below too. So the last page, I presented all the examples of the perfect with 3 nuances according to each book of the Greek New Testament. So this is the final table and cases. So if you are curious about the examples in detail, you will be able to search my dissertation from Google. Okay, so I think that's it. And if you have any questions, please jump in. And sorry for the sound issue in the first place.
Thank you, Dr. Kang, for your presentation. Now we begin the Q&A session, but I don't look a question in the chat room, so maybe you can raise your hand, jump in and ask a question to Dr. Kang. Anyone here studied theology must be familiar with the Greek study in the class. So maybe you can ask something about our theme, 3 in 1 of the perfect indicative in the Greek New Testament. Anyone? I think it's very difficult, Dr. Kang.
I'm sorry.
Okay, there is one, Mr. Genry, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kang, for your presentation. It's a really nice presentation. That's very linguistic, actually, what you presented, even though the linguistic part that you presented is more to the morphological meaning of the verbs. But I would like to. I'm not an expert in Greek, rather in the Semitic languages, but because Greek is also the first translation of the Hebrew Bible and the language of the New Testament, it is really important that we know some Greek. But my question is regarding the phonetics of Koine Greek or Kini Greek which is used in the New Testament and also used in the Septuagint. What do you think the difference between the phonetics of the pronunciation which is used in the ancient Greek compared to the Koine Greek or the Kini Greek? Because there are many reconstructive languages or reconstructive attempted reconstructive Koine Greek of the New Testament or the Septuagint that are actually not really in line with the pronunciation or the phonetics used in the ancient time, like in Homer or in other ancient Greek works, like the philosophical works. Do you think this pronunciation would affect the meaning of the or the changes of the morphological use? And is there any also semantic value that also changed because of this, phonetic change? Or do you even see there is no phonetic change between the Koine and the ancient Greek? Thank you.
Okay, the phonetics or pronunciation. I think I haven't thought about that question. I think it's a really great question. I think right now when you learn Greek, the way you pronunciate the Greek right now is Erasmus pronunciation. And Erasmus, as I know, as I see Erasmus rediscover or reformed the pronunciation of the Koine Greek. He tried to do that, but in fact he did like classical Greek pronunciation, because in Koine Greek already the pronunciation is very like flattened. Like epsilon was already pronounced like E, like iota. So even though Erasmus tried to pronounce the Koine Greek, in fact, right now the current pronunciation is classical Greek pronunciation. Nevertheless, classical Greek pronunciation are very clear to distinguish between, for example, epsilon and iota. So that's why we accept the classical Greek pronunciation, which is Erasmus pronunciation. But I'm not sure the pronunciation, how pronunciation affect the semantic issue. I haven't thought about that, honestly, and I'm not really familiar with the pronunciation change. My study was semantic change of the perfect, but so maybe that's a great question, but I don't know. And so that's all I know about the pronunciation. Yeah. But it's a really intriguing question. Yeah, stimulating question.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jendri, for the question, and thank you, Dr. Kang, for the answer. So there is one question in the chat room from Mr. Abednego. I want to understanding what Christian value from Dr. Kang research.
Okay, what's the value?
What the value?
The difficulty when you learn Greek perfect first, you have no choice but to understand the perfect as English perfect. I don't know whether Indonesian language has a concept of English perfect. We don't have in Korean. We don't have the grammatical category of the perfect, English perfect, from the past and ongoing state. We just explain the situation. So we have no choice but to understand the Greek perfect according to English perfect. But as I said, with that view, the problems occur when we encounter oida. It's a perfect, but its meaning I know, present state, and its occurrence is almost a quarter of the perfect tense. Also, gegraptai, it literally it has been written from the past, its ongoing state right now, but when the authors of the New Testament quote the Old Testament passages, they don't really mean it has been written. They just say it is written in the Old Testament. So the prophecy has been fulfilled. So those tough cases occur many times beside oida and gegraptai. And middle passive forms also, they also denote resultative stative meaning, many stative meaning. So I think with that understanding, I think we can better understand the background and the situation of the New Testament when you read the sentences in Greek. I think as Dr. Mandy said, reading the Bible in original language is very important and it's crucial. And the third stage as well too, some perfects behave like the aorist, and that's a very tough issue for scholars to solve. I think we see that phenomenon already in Latin. Latin perfect is not English perfect. Latin perfect is past tense. I think in Hebrew too, when you say Hebrew perfect, it's many times it's a simple past. Yeah, even though sometimes it can convey the English perfect meaning. So the same thing also happened in Greek too. So that's the value I can say. And so maybe I also have no choice but to emphasize reading the Bible in original language if you would, if it's possible. Then you will be able to feel the vividness of the nuance, vividness of God's word and the sentences as well. That's the value I can say.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kang. Thank you, Mr. Abednego, for your question. So we can find the real meaning in original language. That's the value. Okay, so the next question, Mr. Helmut raise hand, so you can directly ask to Dr. Kang.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kang. I just curious. I want to ask, what is actually the essence of using the perfect tense in the New Testament? Because like the term already but not yet makes difficult for many people to understand what the meaning of the new, what's the message is, what's the message the apostle write this letter and send to people, and it makes clear why the Greek people calling those who believe in the Bible fools, because belief in such thing that it's like it's already but not yet. It's really confused. Why those people believe in that such of like a false things. Yeah, I just curious. I just want to ask you.
So the essence of the perfect tense when they use perfect, I think, for example, I can say when Jesus Christ told his disciples, like, you have believed, meaning from the start of his ministry, the disciples believed in the past, and their believing continues up to that point. In that case, the perfect tense is used. And as you ask the essence of the perfect tense, it's hard. I think it's hard to say the essence of the perfect, because that's when I try to understand the perfect, the beginning was the English perfect, but the perfect really was like kept developing from the past from the Homer, ancient Greek. As I said, the perfect was originally resultative stative, like I know, and it kept evolving in classical Greek, and finally the perfect became like a simple past and disappeared. So the whole process over 1,000 years, that's the whole process of the Greek perfect related to the Greek New Testament. So I would say the value or essence, I think I would say the value of the learning perfect, or I think the value of the New Testament. The New Testament contains these three nuances of the perfect: resultative stative and English perfect and simple past. New Testament contains all three nuances of the perfect. So that's value, and that's the essence. Yeah, that's the essence itself, I think. Yeah. Is that could be the answer for you?
Yeah, and about the, I mean the term already but not yet. What do you think about it? Because it's too difficult to understand. So I mean,
the term already not yet, the theological term already not yet.
Yeah.
I think, in my understanding, it's already for God, but for us it's not yet. So I think it conveys two different views. For God, it's already, because God surpasses time. So he is already, as it is written in prophecy, like Revelation. But for us, it's in the future. It's not yet. That's what I can say with the term, about the term. Is that the answer?
Yeah,
for you?
I think because so many people don't believe in the Bible, because the message is someone died for us, and then if we believe in him, we got the salvation. And but some people in current days, as me, I can say, why do I believe, why do I believe that whole thing? Because this is my life, then somebody care of my life. I mean, about salvation. If I if I driving a car, and then it's nonsense that the others have something about it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe in the first place, of course, and there's a difficulty for us how to explain our faith. But historically and literally, God already showed in the Old Testament, in Hebrew Bible, God already said to his prophets in the Old Testament era, and then Jesus Christ appeared and his apostles wrote the New Testament. And we are Gentile, and we came to be his people through New Testament and through Jesus Christ. And then we can go back to the Old Testament, Hebrew Bible, and so that we could understand better God, because God already showed himself to Israel people. So it's very hard to persuade others. It's just difficult. We have only two testaments, Old Testament and New Testament, and it's just difficult. So that's why through sufferings and trials, without sufferings and trials, maybe not even including myself, not many people could come to or seek God, without sufferings and trials.
Okay. Thank you, Helmut, for the critical question. And there is Mr. Sozanolo Telam Banuang. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Harold Pardede. Excuse me, Mr. Kang. May I comment? I comment about the conversation. I think that the value of understanding the perfect, we understand it is a part of grammar, a part of grammar. We must understand so that we can understand the Bible. We must learn about grammar. My question actually personally may not connect with this topic. How do you help me to type the Greek letter? Because every I type the Greek letter, sometimes even always change into Latin character.
Okay. I just put the website in the chat box. Typegreek.com. You can type Greek. It's not that difficult. For example, alpha is A and beta is B. So you can find it easily how to practice typing Greek in that website. And in Microsoft Word, I think there is a font, Greek font, in Microsoft Word. So you can practice typing Greek in Microsoft Word program. But for now, I recommend this website, typegreek.com. You can practice Greek in typing.
Thank you, Mr. Kang. Once more, in studying Greek, we know parsing, how to interpret the words. According to Mr. Kang, what is the system for parsing? That the good system for parsing. For example, I always use gram chord system. Gram chord system, but for example, the other book, the other books are different. For example, green. The other grammar use the other system, but I use the gram chord system, so that it is easy for me. I use the system that the book of there is the good book that published in Indonesia, that that use Gramcore 2. So I use Gramcore 2. For example, the book or the book who ordered Hasan Sutanto. He used the Gramcore. Is there or are there the other system for parsing? Yeah.
System
or
or
parsing.
Bible software program. I use Accordance Bible software and BibleWorks too. I don't use Gramcore. But when I try to parse some words, I refer to Accordance Bible software and the BibleWorks. And I try to before singing them, I try to parsing myself in order to practice. And in fact, when I learned Greek, the professors prohibited us to use Bible software program.
Okay, so I have ever used the BibleWorks version 8, but it is difficult for me, so that I use the easy one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suzanolo.
Yes.
Maybe this is the last question, Dr. Kang, from Mr. Timotheus Lingkubi in the chat room. In the context of outreach or mission ministry, what is the solution for Bible translators to translate Greek perfect tense word to a local tribe or nation that doesn't have such concept in their language? Such example is South Korea, without reducing the richness of the word's meaning.
Yeah, in South Korea is one of the examples. Of course, South Korea was mission field 100 years ago. And yeah, we have a similar issue for Christians missionaries when they try to evangelize people outside world. Yeah, in fact, there is no like magic to translate completely from the concept of Greek into, for example, Greek perfect into another language. However, the grammar is very small one. When I read Bible in Korean language without knowing the complex Greek perfect concept, I could understand the Bible as a whole, on the whole. So yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, very difficult because there should reduce the richness of the word's meaning. Yeah, when they translate. So that's why we have to emphasize reading original languages, but it's difficult too. It's hard too. But nevertheless, without knowing the languages deeply, we still can read the Bible in our languages, and we can understand most of passages. I believe that. But for pastors and students, I think we should learn and know the Greek and Hebrew.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kang. Maybe one last question, Dr. Kang. There is a question from Intan. Greek is used all over the world in various fields such as medicine, history, mathematics, physics, geography, poetry, theater, literature, and philosophy. Didn't Greek absorb other language in the world and close itself off from the influence of foreign words?
I didn't think Greek observed other languages. Yeah, many terms, especially in the Western world, many medical terms and English, they are from Greek, also from Latin too in English, also from French. And in COVID crisis, as you remember, Delta variant and Omicron variant, they are all Greek. So it's a fascinating. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's Greek is old, and Greek was used in Greek philosophers like Plato and at the time, and the Greek philosophy was the foundation of the modern philosophy, Western philosophy. That is why the Greek became widespread, and it does not mean Greek observed other languages. So in English, there are many foreign words in English, for example, from Greek, Latin, French, German. So it's what I can say is it's beneficial if we know Greek. Yeah.
Special language, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kang. So
Thank you.
we will close our session and we will give you a little appreciation, the digital certificate.
Wow, it looks nice. Thank you.
Yes, thank you once again, Dr. Kang. I hope we can learn sometimes from you about the Greek in the New Testament. So we will continue our session, but we will have a lunch about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour. So after lunch, we will continue our session with Dr. Marudut Simanjuntak. So I will give this session to Mrs. Sania.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, Dr. Harold, as the moderator for this session, and especially thank you for our speakers for this session, Dr. Hanbil Kang. Let me say kamsahamnida. Thank you for your willingness and your presentation, so interesting for us. And I would like to say thank you for all of you as the participant of this international seminar today. It's been a great discussion for all of you, and so thank you very much. And now we will move to the break session, and we would like to invite you to join us for the next session or the fourth session, which will be held on 1 p.m. or 13 hours. And for your information, don't forget to fill out the attendance list on the Google Form link that already shared on the chat box. And if you have any question, okay, I think this information is clear. So see you to the next session. So thank you very much. God bless you all.